My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, June 17th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. The Egyptian authorities have announced that the two flight data recorders from the crashed Egypt Air flight from Paris to Cairo on May 19th have in fact now been retrieved. They've been found, they've been brought up from the seabed where they lay at a depth of some 9,800 feet and are now in Cairo being analyzed. Apparently, according to sources that are speaking in an anonymous manner, the flight data recorders are damaged, but the memory units are intact. So it's now expected that relatively shortly some more information will be forthcoming about what exactly happened to the Airbus A330 that crashed in between the coast of the island of Crete and Cairo. Yesterday in Britain, an event happened that has appalled all of England and certainly much of the world. Campaigning for Britain's EU referendum vote, scheduled for Thursday, has now been suspended as the nation is reeling from the murder of a 41-year-old woman who was a popular pro-Europe member of Parliament. Josephine Cox was a former aid worker and is known for her advocacy on behalf of Syrian refugees, was killed outside of a library where she regularly met constituents in her home village of Birstall in northern England. She apparently had been repeatedly shot and stabbed. Guns are very rare in Britain. Apparently the person who perpetrated the attack has been apprehended, and prior to the attack and during the attack he apparently was screaming "Britain first, Britain first." Naturally, the Leave campaign has disavowed any relationship with the man. However, both camps have suspended campaigning for at least one more day. The vote is scheduled for Thursday. There are some indications that the man, who we're not going to name, was 52 years old, had some extreme right-wing leanings. Britain First is the name of a far-right anti-immigration group which released a statement after the attack saying that it was obviously not involved and would never encourage behavior of this sort. Mrs. Cox was married and had two young children. Expressions of grief from David Cameron as well as from the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. Mrs. Cox was a Labour member of Parliament, have been profound. Mr. Cameron came back from a campaign tour in Gibraltar upon hearing the news of the murder. Firefighters in the United States are working today to control a growing wildfire in coastal Southern California, as well as a larger blaze in rural New Mexico. The Sherpa fire in California has grown to about 1,400 acres, causing authorities to evacuate some 400 homes. 1,200 firefighters are working to try to prevent the spread of that fire. Southeast of Albuquerque, New Mexico, another fire called the Doghead Fire broke out about 6 miles northwest of the town of Tajik. That's forced evacuations and grown to about 16,000 acres. Governor Susana Martinez, who Donald Trump claimed was incompetent and needed to go, declared a state of emergency and ordered the state's National Guard to be prepared to assist if needed. Insurance sources are saying that claims from the earthquake that struck Japan's Kumamoto prefecture in April have now reached $2.9 billion. As of the 13th of June, some 190,000 claims totaling $2.88 billion have been paid by domestic and foreign insurance companies. These claims figures are now heading toward the top end of the estimate offered by the modeling agency AIR Worldwide, and suggest that insured losses would fall somewhere a little bit north of $3 billion. Kumamoto accounts for about 25% of Japan's semiconductor production, in addition to hosting automobile, steel, and ship manufacturers. The earthquake forced the closure of factories belonging to Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, and Sony, raising the prospect of business interruption claims, which have yet to come in. The Iranian semi-official Fars news agency is reporting that an explosion in a subway tunnel in Tehran has killed 2 workers and damaged a gas pipeline. The explosion took place at 4:30 a.m. this morning while digging was taking place on a subway line in northwestern Tehran. The news agency reported that the explosion damaged phone cables, water, and gas pipelines, but other than the 2 workers killed, no civilian casualties were reported. Mitsubishi Motors in Japan announced this morning that it had manipulated fuel economy data on more car models than previously reported and expanded the estimated cost of the scandal to include a $480 million special loss in the current financial year. Mitsubishi said this morning that it had falsified data to make mileage appear better on 20 models previously sold between 2006 and 2016. This is after the company's admissions earlier of falsified mileage and the use of illegal testing methods. Mitsubishi said that in some cases it used desktop calculations instead of fuel economy tests to cut costs. In other cases, when tests were conducted, resistance ratings were manipulated to produce better mileage results. There will probably be some additional action taken against Mitsubishi by the government. The situation in Britain is appalling right now. Having just returned from there the day before yesterday, I can tell you that tensions are running high on both sides. However, the brazen, blatant murder of Mrs. Cox in public is going to bring people up sharply and cause them to examine exactly which way they are going to vote on Thursday. The consequences could be quite profound. That's the news for today. Have a pleasant weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.